Kawasaki's four-legged Corlia is a hydrogen-powered robo-wolf that moves like a panther.
This is all that stands between what's to come. Imagine a four-legged, soundless machine that seems destined to travel, carrying a rider across rugged terrain while sipping pure hydrogen. Its graceful movements betray its continued status as an ethereal, future-oriented being. But when you believe you've seen it all, Kawasaki pulls back the curtain, unveiling a machine that's both awe-inspiring and unmatched by anything you've ever seen. Everyone has been waiting for this moment, and now it is here. The big reveal. In an Osaka press conference held on April 4, 2025, Kawasaki Heavy Industries unveiled its hydrogen-powered robot horse, Corleo. The sight of the life-size prototype, illuminated by powerful spotlights, rendered onlookers gasps. The look of it was more mechanical than animalistic. Extending from wide haunches, four sturdy legs culminated in split hooves that were shod with rubber treads. Shining in a deep green polish was a sleek body constructed of lightweight metal and composite panels above them. Two narrow tanks, like saddlebags propped up against the rear, contained compressed hydrogen and were located in the middle of the body. Takashi Tori, CEO of Kawasaki, detailed the process by which electric motors in each joint would be powered by a tiny fuel cell that transforms hydrogen into energy. According to him, this arrangement would produce just water vapor as byproducts. At velocities above 80 kilometers per hour, the rider was assured that a transparent front screen would protect them from the wind and pebble shards. Kawasaki showed a video of Corleo riding through muddy fields and across rocky creeks. Even on very steep inclines, the robotic horse kept its rider level by gently tilting its body as it upped the rocks. Despite the rider's minor leftward lean in the video, Corleo expertly sidestepped an obstruction. As if a genuine beast had been rehabilitated, the setting seemed to come to life. Tori was interrogated by reporters. Later that month, would Corleo compete in the Osaka Kansai Expo? According to his response, the project was only an idea at this point. Real prototypes of future pieces were on show, but the complete walking machine wouldn't be ready until April. Rather, Kawasaki planned to showcase its hydrogen economy, off-road mobility vision, and solicit input during the expo. Enthusiasm filled the gathering hall. Other firms' engineers acknowledged the obvious potential. Corleo has the potential to revolutionize rescue missions, farming, and adventure tourism if it could transport people or goods over inhospitable terrain that vehicles cannot handle. By the time the stage was dark, all eyes were on Kawasaki, who had exhibited more than just a prototype. Their presentation offered a picture of a future where renewable energy and robots work together to reach inaccessible places. However, what is it that truly excites Corleo? Let's take a look behind the hood to see how the experts at Kawasaki transformed hydrogen into mechanical wizardry. That's where the true surprise lies. Hydrogen is the fuel that powers Corleo. After the rider has sat on the seat, two slim tanks made of composite and sturdy metal line the back of the bike. Under extreme pressure, hydrogen gas is stored in these tanks. A valve opens, allowing hydrogen to flow into a tiny fuel cell located beneath the frame as soon as the rider is prepared to go. A chemical reaction between atmospheric hydrogen and oxygen in this cell produces energy in the form of volts and clean water vapor. Since water is the sole exhaust gas, Corleo produces no smoke or soot. In fact, a careful observer will detect just a subtle mist. A series of small batteries integrated into the chassis absorb the power generated by the fuel cell and store it for later use. The batteries are able to store additional power when Corleo is stationary or coasting, and they instantaneously release it when the robotic horse needs a surge of strength to overcome obstacles or climb steep terrain. This configuration eliminates abrupt power cuts by distributing the current more evenly. Additionally, the machine's batteries ensure that it is always prepared for action, and refilling with hydrogen just takes a few minutes. After that, we trace the electricity down to Corleo's lower body. 2 electric motors, one for each of the 4 legs, one at the hip joint and the other at the knee joint, make this robot walk. These motors imitate a horse's gait by bending and extending its leg as they spin. Each motor and its joint are strengthened by a series of gears, allowing Corleo to effortlessly transport riders or big cargo. Shock absorbers called spring damper assemblies were installed around each engine by Kawasaki. These allow Corleo's hooves to land gently on the ground. The robot horse's springs and dampers absorb shock, so the ride remains comfortable even if the horse encounters obstacles like rocks or ruts. Corleo can confidently walk on grass that is either too wet or too uneven, thanks to a tiny actuator in each hoof that can independently tilt the toe parts. The placement of those hooves must be observed carefully. In its head section, Corleo mounts a suite of sensors and cameras. 2 front-facing cameras take pictures of the ground below, while 2 rotating LiDAR units create a 3-dimensional image of the surrounding environment. The crew is augmented at night by infrared sensors, which locate concealed stones or dips in dim light. An onboard computer updates a live map of the route ahead based on all these data streams. In a matter of milliseconds, the computer's specialized software, which we'll refer to as the brain, examines the map and selects secure areas for each foot. It searches for hard surfaces, stays away from muck, and doesn't step on loose pebbles. A cyclist can increase their lift by leaning forward, which causes the brain to transfer power to their front legs. To maintain balance, the rider adjusts their body position in response to a sloping surface. The elegant, animalistic stride of the Corleo is a result of this ongoing feedback loop. When compared to driving other automobiles, steering Corleo seems really natural. The robot horse is controlled by shifting its weight, rather of using handlebars or a joystick. Pressure sensors, located beneath the saddle and stirrups, may detect minute changes in the rider's equilibrium. Corleo turns in the direction of your left lean by slowing down his left leg and speeding up his right one. If you lean to the right, it will do the opposite. You can easily direct the robotic horse to go where you want it to go with just your body movements. A floating display panel, just below eye level, shows the rider's speed, the amount of hydrogen left, and a balancing meter to assist them stay focused. You can navigate in the dark without damaging your night vision by using a tiny projector to cast arrows onto the ground. There is an inherent amount of safety. To keep track of its angle, Corleo has accelerometers and gyros on board. To avoid a rollover, the system will cut power and lock the joints if the tilt exceeds 30 degrees. The hydrogen tanks are monitored by a separate pressure sensor. In the event that the pressure exceeds safe limits, a controlled venting of gas away from the rider is triggered by the emergency valve. In the event that the primary fuel cell fails, the rider has 15 minutes to locate stable ground and safely dismount, thanks to the backup batteries that keep the most important joints functioning. Improving and maintaining the design were important objectives. The side panels of Corleo's body may be quickly unlocked by latching them. The fuel cell module and battery pack may be swapped out in minutes by technicians without the need for tools. The motor assembly of each leg detaches from its mount, allowing for quick repairs in the field. Additionally, the robot horse is capable of receiving software upgrades wirelessly. This means that Kawasaki may instantly update Corleo's control program with new versions, which can enhance the gait algorithms or introduce new features, all without having to return the machines. It is the combined effect of all these systems that gives Corleo its distinct personality. Electric motors provide silent power, clever sensors provide safe navigation, Hydrogen allows for extended range and quick refilling, and batteries provide smooth power supply. Thanks to its ingenious concealed pressure sensors and AI brains, its control mechanism seems incredibly human-like, rather than mechanical. Even though it is powered by water vapor and energy, Corleo glides with the graceful fluidity of a living being while you are on board. Using a combination of modern robotics and established hydrogen technology, Kawasaki has developed a vehicle that can transport people or goods over unpaved or otherwise inaccessible terrain. It proves that clean energy transportation may open up new vistas, well beyond the limits of what is now possible with automobiles and trucks. A small group of engineers and artists at Kawasaki's Kobe Design Lab first envisioned a four-legged rideable robot. They studied wolves, horses, and deer for ideas on how to design the horse's joints, body lines, and foot forms to be both sturdy and flexible. Using paper and pencil, they experimented with various leg lengths, body angles, and saddle locations until they achieved an equilibrium between steadiness and speed. They went into three-dimensional computer models when the fundamental form felt correct. They created an electronic replica of Corleo using computer-aided design software. To simulate its potential motion in real time, the team could bend the knees, straighten the legs, or tilt the torso. To make the surfaces smoother, they employed virtual clay, paying special attention to the curves so that they would appear nice and minimize wind resistance. Kawasaki drew inspiration for their fairing designs from motorcycle bodywork due to their extensive background in the motorbike industry. The result was a sleek profile that shielded Corleo's electronics and fuel cell from the elements and a wind-cutting nose. After finishing the digital model, the engineers moved on to the mechanical components. In order to power 4 electric motors, they created a compact hydrogen fuel cell module that could fit under the seat. Based on Kawasaki's previous experience with hydrogen motorcycles, they decided on a 150-kilowatt cell. After that, they measured the available space and torque requirements for each knee and hip joint, and then set up the electric motor mounts. Aesthetic aspects were fine-tuned by the art team, who paid homage to the Kawasaki brand with a dark green paint job and showcased the technology by drawing attention to the silver metal of key joints. Many test rigs emerged on the assembly line as components took form. So that engineers could run it through millions of motions, a rig was built specifically for the hip joint, which held the motor gearbox and damper. The objective was to demonstrate its capability to support the rider's weight plus an additional safety buffer. In order to determine how long the hoof assembly would last and how well they would grip uneven surfaces, another apparatus hammered them with titanium shells attached to rubber pads. For the purpose of updating digital models and fine-tuning spring rates, they meticulously documented data from each impact. The control software team in Tokyo developed the initial AI code while the mechanical work was ongoing in Kobe. They used simulation environments to import maps of forest floors and rocky landscapes. Then they used virtual Corleos to run over these maps while adjusting the step planning algorithms. They put the machine through its paces by simulating a sharp turn by the rider or an abrupt decline in terrain. They were certain that the actual machine would maintain its balance during its first stroll after performing hundreds of virtual trials. The project went into full integration phase after the subsystems were validated. The computational brain, fuel cell modules, motor units, and sensor arrays were all integrated into a single frame by engineers over the course of many months. An inspection saddle rig was used to secure the hydrogen tanks before they could be filled or drained. On a prototype head module, engineers installed inertial sensors, LiDAR units, and cameras to collect data about the surrounding world. In order to observe the AI's real-time foot placement decisions on a miniature terrain mock-up, they connected these to a laptop running the control software. Real testing started at a Kawasaki test site outside of Kobe after lab runs. Temporary body panels and illuminated test wire harnesses were seen on the prototype frame. In order for high-speed cameras to follow the trajectories of the joints, colorful tape was applied to each leg. While monitoring motor currents, joint angles, and fuel cell production, the crew led Corleo over minor hills, gravel heaps, and muddy spots for hundreds of cycles. By keeping track of all this data, they were able to identify areas of high demand and energy consumption trends. Staging the unveiling was the next art form. In preparation for the 2025 Osaka Expo, Kawasaki secured a prominent location in the main pavilion. They constructed an elevated platform in the style of a rugged ridge and then covered it with synthetic grass and stones. The full-scale Corleo prototype was placed in the spotlight. A mist effect was achieved by rigging smoke generators to expel harmless water vapor around the hooves, and the lighting was coordinated so that each leg was highlighted as it walked in the computer-generated scene. Kawasaki unveiled the prototype on April 4, 2025. On two enormous displays, we watched as Corleo navigated woodlands, climbed mountains, and crossed streams. The computer-generated imagery was extremely detailed to mimic the prototype's appearance. Assuring the audience that the idea was founded on solid engineering, the presentation highlighted how each graphic was derived from actual data from previous test runs and simulations. Reporters, mobility specialists, investors, and even a handful of robotics lab invited engineering students were in attendance for the preview. Photographers from the media swarmed the prototype after the speech, while others milled around the room, taking notes on the project's ins and outs. They also took a simulated ride on the Corleo in a neighboring VR booth and spoke about potential future test programs. Team members are currently back in Kawasaki's laboratories, assessing input from the expo. Improvements to the joint designs, weatherproofing for use in rain trials, and an increase in fuel cell capacity will allow them to cover greater distances. Before the year comes to a close, they will also have a smaller-scale version ready to walk under human direction. With these measures in place, Kawasaki will be able to realize its goal of leg-powered hydrogen transportation by the year 2050. Riding Corleo is a mix of familiar and novel sensations. A little fold-out board is located on Corleo's left side, and riders may hop on it by swishing a leg over a low seat. The saddle is positioned closer to the horse's frame than on a standard horse, so that the rider may maintain a low center of gravity. When everything is in place, the machine is activated using weight sensors located beneath the saddle and stirrups. Corleo is prepared to go when the rider hears a gentle tone that indicates the systems have booted. To get going, all the rider has to do is lean forward slightly. The change is detected by Corleo's AI, which then instructs the front legs to raise. A silky stride characterizes the robotic horse's movement. The electric motors make a soft hum, which is about the only sound. Like a genuine horse, Corleo speeds up when the rider leans forward, going from a stroll to a trot. A concealed battery pack that stores excess power from the hydrogen fuel cell is responsible for the natural acceleration. Moving the center of gravity to the steering wheel is how steering works. Leaning to the left or right, riders delicately put their feet in the stirrups. When Corleo leans to the left, it slows down its left leg and speeds up its right, softly twisting in that direction. Turn it right side up, and it reverses its action. Without gripping handlebars, the steering seems more natural, like controlling a living thing with its own body rather than a machine. The stability of the ride is further enhanced by Corleo's adaptable hooves. Two rubber toes rest on top of a spring-loaded framework on each hoof. The robot's toes can swivel on their own to grab onto loose stones or soft dirt as it travels over uneven ground, ensuring the rider is not jarred. Even on very steep inclines, The hooves' tiny actuators maintain the body level by adjusting the angle of each toe to fit the slope below. There are fewer surprises and more confidence over rocky terrain, according to riders who have used this technique. Like an automobile's shock absorbers, the leg joints have spring and damper components around the electric motors. The springs soften the blow when Corleo's hooves strike obstacles, and the dampers regulate how far they bounce back. Because the dampening mechanism absorbs most of the vibration before it reaches the rider, even long routes with roots or rocks seem manageable, resulting in a ride devoid of jarring jolts. To chart its environment, Corleo has a number of sensors on board. Positioned on top, LiDAR units scan up to 20 meters ahead, creating a three-dimensional picture of obstructions or uneven ground, while cameras positioned at the front record a wide view. While cameras may overlook dips and rocks during the day, infrared sensors may detect them even in foggy or dark conditions. A computer using an artificial intelligence program determines the exact location and angle of each hoof's stride, based on all this data. In order to maintain a comfortable ride, the machine revises its strategy hundreds of times every second. On top of live mapping, Corleo has a straightforward HUD that the rider can see in front of them. It's a transparent screen that shows the rider's speed, hydrogen level, and a balancing meter that lights up if they lean too much. Ever when it's dark outside, the integrated projector will gently show the way, guiding the rider past obstacles before they ever see them. While not so bright as to impair night vision, the light is just ideal for making out the path ahead. The safety systems are silently operating. Always keeping tabs on Corleo's angle are gyroscopes and accelerometers. The machine's controller locks the legs and shuts power if the tilt exceeds 30 degrees, preventing the machine from rolling over. When the hydrogen pressure in the tank gets too high, an emergency valve releases the gas, protecting the rider from any potential harm. Backup batteries keep critical joints energized for up to 15 minutes in the very unlikely case of a fuel cell outage, giving the rider enough time to safely dismount and reach solid ground. The design was also influenced by the need to put the rider at ease. In order to keep you dry on those long summer rides, this saddle has permeable padding. In order to accommodate riders of varying heights, the stirrups may be easily adjusted without the need for tools by sliding along rails and locking into position. You may change the saddle's tilt angle for back support using a little crank that's located at the saddle's rear. Those who ride for long periods of time report that these seemingly little details significantly lessen the effects of exhaustion and muscle pain. In their demo films, Kawasaki highlighted Corleo's riding expertise. An equestrian effortlessly maneuvers around a boulder in a green area in one clip by leaning to the left and stepping wide with Corleo's front left leg. There is no jolt, and the rider's body remains level. In an alternate scene, the machine powers up a muddy bank with the help of torque control, ensuring that each hoof holds and slips just little. As Corleo figures out the safest way up a steep incline, the rider maintains a steady pace. In a film from a night ride, the rider follows projector arrows as they navigate a woodland track. Low branches brush past them, but Corleo identifies openings and changes its stride to slightly lower its head, shielding the rider from the branches above. With the use of infrared sensors, Corleo is able to locate and avoid concealed routes. A dreamy, peaceful trip is created by the blending of night sounds with the soft hum of the engines. Last but not least, Corleo is shown racing along a level gravel track in a video. As soon as the rider bends forward, Corleo starts trotting quickly. While the engine remains cool under the hood, the wind deflector screen shields the rider's body at 40 kilometers per hour. While maneuvering on uneven gravel, the hooves generate a shower of stone dust while maintaining grip. The machine's skill in balancing speed and stability is on full display during the thrilling ride. Achieving the sensation of riding like an animal while harnessing the power and stamina of a machine is the central emphasis of Corleo's ride system. Kawasaki has created an artificial horse that is both sensitive and lifelike through the use of electric motors, adaptable hooves, hydrogen fuel cells, and intuitive weight shift management. From rescue missions in conflict zones to exhilarating rides on adventure routes, it provides a fresh perspective on exploring difficult or isolated landscapes. In preparation for next testing, Kawasaki intends to enhance the AI algorithm's smoothness and incorporate voice cues for novice riders. They are also planning to install heating components and weather sealing for areas with chilly weather. By implementing these changes, Corleo will be prepared for practical usage, and the riding season will be able to continue throughout the winter. As a result of these upgrades, riding tomorrow on Corleo may allow for pleasant, risk-free travel in areas without roads. When you ride Corleo today, you'll be riding on a combination of old-world wisdom and cutting-edge engineering. A hydrogen future that is more comfortable to drive than conventional EVs is on the horizon with this major leap forward. This robotic horse brings together the best of both worlds, the elegance of an animal and the might of modern technology, in its off-road prowess, effortless stride, and user-friendly controls. When this combination of nature and innovation considers what the future holds, what are the results? Keep reading, because what lies ahead for Corleo and Kawasaki's vision is quite remarkable. The next chapter has the potential to revolutionize our way of seeing the world. At Expo 2025, Kawasaki will be looking beyond the prototype, and Corleo will be the first sign of a new age in mobility. The idea, rather than a finished thing, encourages us to see legged machines as ubiquitous. In the next decades, Kawasaki intends to perfect every subsystem, transforming conceptual drawings and computer-generated imagery into functional prototypes. We anticipate that by the year 2030, small-scale test models will be able to walk under human direction. Prolonged experiments in different conditions will confirm dependability by the year 2040. Corleo or its replacements could start limited production for certain uses by the year 2050. The gap between lofty goals and practical application will be filled up by this incremental process. Making working prototypes that can navigate rough ground without human intervention is the next stage. Using what they've learned from the first round of lab experiments, the engineers want to finish a half-scale model by the end of 2026. The walking prototypes will have enhanced actuator designs and stronger joints. Stability at low speeds and progressive gaits will be the primary goals of the early trials. With the goal of assuring safety even at a basic stroll, the information collected will help software algorithms that plan steps and maintain equilibrium. The mechanical robustness of Corleo will be demonstrated under real weights by 2028, when full-size versions transporting a single rider will start outside testing. Kawasaki will improve the hydrogen fuel cell technology to accommodate longer rides and more demanding settings, potentially increasing range and power production in future iterations are bigger or more efficient cells. Corleo will be able to function in both scorching deserts and icy highlands because to its advanced heat management technologies. In order to prevent dust, water, and snow from getting into electronics, engineers are also planning to waterproof them. Teams will be able to replace either fuel cells or tanks with ease, because to a modular design approach, which will save downtime. Put together, these hardware enhancements will make the idea of legged mobility a reality, even in extreme environments. Constructing the infrastructure for recharging with hydrogen is equally critical. Similar to modern motorbikes, Corleo requires quick and easy refills. Demo refueling stations will be installed at test locations and research institutes by Kawasaki in partnership with energy businesses. Remote operations might be serviced by portable refill packs that use tiny electrolyzers to generate green hydrogen as needed. Field operations, including rescue missions or building sites, may benefit from mobile replenishment trailers. Legged transportation will become more feasible when more public and private fueling stations are added, allowing riders to confidently plan longer routes without worrying about running out of juice. Emergency response and rough terrain activities are when Corleo really comes into its own. In locations inaccessible by road, such as earthquake zones or flooded areas, a small rescue crew may ride in to reach survivors. Any number of things, including medical supplies, communication equipment, or even a victim, may be carried by Corleo. A four-legged robot might carry equipment and crops across uneven or swampy terrain in the agricultural sector. There would be new mobility alternatives for remote research trips in tundra or deserts that don't harm delicate soils or leave footprints. Every time, Corleo creates new avenues where none existed previously. The military and industrial sectors will also pay attention. Using Corleo, mining operations in the Rocky Mountains may transport supplies down precarious ledges. In order to examine hulls or structures in rough environments, offshore platforms or shipyards may use robots with legs. The design can be modified by the Defense Forces for use in reconnaissance missions in forested or devastated metropolitan areas. Compared to tracked or wheeled vehicles, Corleo is less noticeable because to its low ground pressure and silent electric motor, making it perfect for covert missions. By adding specialized cargo modules, the platform has the potential to become a logistical behemoth. Profits might also accrue from the entertainment and tourist industries in addition to the workforce. The thrilling Corleo rides could be available at adventure parks. Real walking robots might be utilized as interactive displays or dynamic set pieces in film and gaming projects. Safari excursions and theme cruises allow visitors to get up close and personal with nature without threatening native species. To transport guests across sand dunes or through tropical jungles, even five-star resorts may install four-legged robot shuttles. No matter what, you can count on Corleo to provide an unforgettable adventure that is both thrilling and environmentally conscious. An ecosystem of partners is necessary to realize this horizon. Kawasaki has established relationships with experts in fuel cells, artificial intelligence, and materials science. Regional governments interested in hydrogen adoption, outdoor gear manufacturers, and robotic logistics businesses are all potential future partners. Biomechanical and control system insights will be provided by research labs. Rules for rideable robot safety can be defined with the aid of standard-setting bodies. To make sure Corleo satisfies the demands of regulators, environmental stewards, and riders, Kawasaki is bringing together a wide range of specialists to ease the way to market. Still ahead, there are obstacles to overcome. From standards for energy storage to safety certificates, regulations governing rideable robots will have to change. Beyond aesthetics, public faith in the machine's dependability and safety features is essential for its widespread adoption. The reduction of manufacturing costs can only be achieved by optimizing both scale and design. Those interested in learning to ride, navigate, and maintain Corleo safely can enroll in training programs. Legged mobility is getting closer to become a reality with each milestone, but overcoming these hurdles will need concerted action across businesses, government, and communities. In the end, Corleo suggests a future where transportation changes with the terrain rather than the other way around. We will be able to explore and operate in previously inaccessible regions in a world equipped with hydrogen infrastructure, autonomous controls, and adaptable robots. It is possible that we should tread softly on established paths rather than create brand new ones. More than just an idea, Corleo is the catalyst that launches Kawasaki into a new era of technological leadership. With each passing prototype comes the hope of a better, more interconnected future, where robots and people may coexist in peace. Finally, the hydrogen horse from Kawasaki rethinks off-road travel with its clean power and nimble legs. To keep ahead of the curve, subscribe, and hit like if this leap into the future thrilled you. Leave a comment with your craziest ideas. In order to ensure that you never miss any of our explanations of incredible technology, please click the bell icon. You won't want to miss the following video, which is much more intriguing. Click here to view it right now. All things are possible in the world of adventure. Collaborate with us as we lead the way in clean mobility. Be careful.